Pro Football Weekly is taking a look at the top free agents around the league. Right now we're talking about Mike Wallace, the Steelers wide receiver. Mike, we know that Pittsburgh's in a bad situation with the salary cap. They're cutting guys left and right. They're not going to put the franchise tag on Wallace. They will tender him with a first-round tender. But how likely is it that he gets an offer that the Steelers can't match?
Well, I think he's obviously the best receiver available in free agency, but he's a restricted free agent, which comes with the first-round pick that's going to come with signing Mike Wallace. And I think that could be something that could really help Pittsburgh out. Because, listen, first-round picks in this day and age, in this CBA, are the more valuable with the salary numbers going down. And I tend to think that that's going to work in Pittsburgh's favor. It's also a very good draft class overall of receivers. There are lots of alternatives to Mike Wallace, but there's no doubting that he's a special player.
If he's the top guy in the free agent class, and it costs a first-round pick, if you're picking at the end of the first round, like, I don't know, a Patriots or someone like that, isn't it worth it?
It could be, depending on your situation, your first-round picks, and the amount of money that you have to spend. And I think the Patriots could fit the bill of one of those interested teams. I think anybody with 2 first-round picks, that would be the type of team you'd be looking at, where the first-round pick was later in the first round. I mean, you don't want to give up a top 10 or even upper half of the first-round pick for Mike Wallace. But if you've got a lower first-round pick and you've got a need for speed at receiver, he's a guy that really fits that bill.
How likely do you think it is that he's not in Pittsburgh next year?
I think he's going to be in Pittsburgh next year. I just think the first-round hurdle is going to be quite a bit for teams to overcome. I think it's a deep receiving class in free agency, and I also think it's a deep receiving class in the draft, as I had mentioned. So I just tend to think there are lots of alternatives to Mike Wallace, and I think that's going to work in Pittsburgh's favor.
Any chance, if he were to go somewhere else, at least, who do you think teams might be that would be in line for him?
Well, I think the teams that are fits would be New England. I think San Francisco is a fit. I think Baltimore would be a fit on paper in terms of the need. But again, it comes down to money, and Mike Wallace isn't going to come cheap. You can't put out a small offer for Mike Wallace because the Steelers are going to match it.
How about that? Going to Baltimore, division rival, I think that would be a killer for Steelers fans. They've lost enough already this offseason. We'll see how it all plays out, and you can keep an eye on it just by following us at ProFootballWeekly.com.